Welcome to this week's edition of Mainely Motorsports here with Greg, and spent the day over at Beach Ridge the other day, the SouthernMaineMotors.com race, it was a good time.
Yeah, it was.
And the funny thing is, you see...
I get a little sunburn.
You got a little sunburn?
Yep.
But a lot of these people, we see them at the off-season car shows and stuff, but then you don't see them, and it's good to get back and talk to them and find out how their winters went and how things are going. And I'll tell you, I feel like that, you watch that Dancing with the Stars?
Sometimes.
The goofy one, Bruno Tamale or Toronto or whatever his name.
I know who you're talking about.
Right?
I don't
he
know
wants
his
to get
name.
all excited. That's what.
Jump up on the table.
Yeah. He gets excited about the male dances. He doesn't get excited about the girls that are half dressed. He gets excited. But that's what I felt like at the end of the day.
Yeah.
When Joey Dwyron was rolling into victory lane. I mean, with the young gun. I mean, we had 3 young guns in the race.
Yep.
And wow, I feel like the gauntlet's been thrown down, the bar's been set, and he's just, I'm not saying he's at the front of the line now, but he just put a stamp on Joey Dwyron.
And, I've known him and his family for a while, since he was in limiteds at Beach Ridge, basically. And to be able to go out and congratulate them, in right there, and that's a moment that they've been waiting for. And his mother was like visibly shaken,
Well, and me and and I'm pretty sure it was either me and you or me and Peter Pettit were having a conversation a few weeks back, and it wasn't on the show, I don't believe, and talked about feel-good stories.
Right.
To me, that's the little guy. The parents do all they can for him.
Yep.
The Myers family, Donnie and Charlene, have been with him since he took this stuff.
And Dalton.
And Dalton. Dalton's grown up, becoming more of a crew member now. He's a friend with these guys.
Yep.
And for them to experience, they were car owners years back with Danny Bubar, won a lot of races.
Right, yeah.
But for them to be a part of something when it was here and now it's winning races at that level, that was huge for them.
And I think, adding Donnie, Charlene, and Dalton to the program, really brought it into perspective. Donnie's got a lot of knowledge.
Yeah, and he's got a lot of young friends that help him. I mean, we saw a lot of them from the Wyndham area, right out there on the front stretch, congratulating him after that. But with these young drivers, you need that mature factor around.
Right.
And by having this, and you never, you always listen to your parents, but you don't listen to your parents like you do somebody else. So I'm sure Donnie and Charlene, play a big part in that whole operation. But congratulations to Joey
that
and
whole
the
group,
parents, and just huge, and then
it was because he changed it to blue. Get rid of the green.
Yeah, black and blue. But
and listen,
and you gotta speak.
I'm trying to think how to say it. He turned the field black and blue with his performance, because he didn't just win. He handed them their tails.
Yeah, he spanked them, and then you guys were having a good run.
I don't want to talk about it.
All right, and then you ripped up the pavement. Is Andy going to send you a bill for that?
I don't know. I was teasing Dan, saying that he was getting charged for a speed bump.
Well, what I thought happened was I thought the motor really came apart because there was stuff flying through the air. And then I go, wow, that one really grenaded.
No.
But then I said, oh, no, that's Andy's pavement.
We were tearing up the pavement from the get-go.
Yeah.
To put it that way. We had a really good car, and then right after a restart, coming off of 4, it just laid down. It just died.
Yeah.
And what happened was the distributor turned, and you know as well as I do that messes everything up. I don't know what happened, why. It was tight. We don't know why. We don't know if it jumped a tooth or what. But
there was a lot of distributor problems going on there yesterday. That's what happened to Billy Rogers in the big race. And I want to tell everybody a funny story. Everybody that watched last week saw Johnny Clark and me. I hung out at Johnny's place for a couple hours, and Johnny had some issues. Still, they're diagnosing what they were. Well, Johnny had to change his exhaust from where it ran last year to where it was running this year.
Right.
So in doing that, he had to relocate his fuel line. So I was up there and under the car with him, hanging out and talking, and I suggested where I would run the fuel line, and change the fuel filter and do it this way, and it's out of the way and all that. And Johnny kind of liked the idea and went with it. And I said, but remember, I'm just a stupid TV guy, and if it vapor locks or you have a problem, it's not my fault. Well, anybody that was there saw Johnny with about 40 to go. The car started spitting and sputtering. And I was standing there with Vicky Mulkern, and I told her the story, and she's like, oh, my word. I said, I hope it ain't nothing to do with fuel. Johnny's going to kill me. So after the event, I went down and saw Johnny and said, from 20 feet away, asked him, please tell me that was an electrical problem, not a fuel problem, And he's like, yeah, it was your fault, So I don't think it was, but it was like, put my heart in my throat.
Right. Yeah, so we had a distributor issue, which in turn shut the car off while we were leading, right on a restart, and with the snarling pack right behind us.
Oh, yeah.
Just got bumped into a little bit, and it shot him down into he was already turning left, trying to get out of the way, and it shot him into the speed bumps coming off of 4, and he hit one of those speed bumps are so high anyway, and the cars are so low now.
Yep.
He hit one of those speed bumps, ripped the whole front suspension.
And the worst
out of
part,
it.
the old man got into it too because of it. And so yeah, you brought some.
No, the worst part, and not just the worst part is half the field got into it.
Yeah.
Because, and I don't know, Dan, all he got for damage on the car was when he hit the speed bump, it ripped the center link out of the car.
Yeah.
So that in turn took the steering away. So even if they'd figured out why it was.
We were done.
Yeah, we were done. So he was way down. He hit the speed bumps right there and pulled right in the infield. And then, I don't know if they were all freaked out from the debris flying because literally there was tar going everywhere.
Yeah.
It looked like somebody blew one of the speed bumps up with a
M80.
Yeah, M80 or whatever. And there was tar going everywhere. Then there was cars going everywhere. And it really stinks because that race at that track is usually one of the best races of the weekend. And
Yeah.
it was a crash fest.
No, it took them a while to get going, and once they thinned the field out, and they decided they wanted to race.
Yeah.
And then Andy Shaw, won his race, and
Par normal.
but he was right. Dale's going to be a force to be reckoned
Yeah.
with.
Uncle Dale was giving him all he wanted.
Yeah, all he wanted, and there'll be a time, and if Dale was a little bit closer.
I saw a few times. I was like, boy, I bet Dale wishes he had fenders right now.
He'd lean on him. So, congratulations to everybody. And, a lot of people don't know, but we, at Mainely Motorsports, we don't have media access anymore to cover any of the races. We can cover Beech Ridge, but not any of the races that were going on there. So that's why we can only talk and not show any video or pictures or anything. So
Yep.
I don't know. It's not our doing. I mean, it's not what, I want to be there. I mean, obviously I was there,
Right.
Made my way in and went to the show and watched it and, enjoyed the racing and talked to a lot of my friends. And
That's what it's all about.
So, if something changes, we'll be right back at it and showing you everything there is. But,
Yep.
it stinks for, Southern Maine Motors, who, was heavily involved, and we want to make a big to-do for them. But we got a
Right.
piece later on in the show today about them. And, so it is what it is.
It stinks for everybody all around.
Yeah, so whatever. Maybe it'll all come out and, then it'll turn around. But for now,
What else are we talking about on the show today?
I don't know. What do you want to talk about?
I don't know.
We got the Young Guns. We're going to, remind everybody a little bit later on about the Young Guns and the big party we got coming for the Young Guns.
The Young Guns are starting to kick it off.
Yeah, and the fans knew when they voted what they were voting for.
Right.
And they knew that these 10 drivers were the ones that, granted they all haven't won races yet, but racing's still early.
Some of them haven't even started really.
Yeah, they haven't even started, but the ones that have are coming out of the box on fire, and it's putting a little added pressure here and there, and that's what we wanted. And really excited for the party that's going to come up. And I want to talk a little more on the details on that in a little bit, because Peggy Timmons is just, I was teasing her last night. I said, I got 550 people coming. She said, bring them. I said, holy. Well, I don't think we do, but we're inviting the world because it's an opportunity to see these 10 kids together.
Right.
And some of them have never met each other, so it's going to be a good time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, we got that, and I went off last week, and you saw some highlights of, it'll be a 2-part segment, some this week, some next week, where I went out and caught up with a 13-year-old kid that I think has a boatload of talent. And,
Right.
He's got some good people behind him, some people that have had success in the sport behind him. So I think he's one of the next guys we're all going to be hearing about. And he's not one that is, heck, he came into this past weekend leading the legend points, but because of the way it is with Nelcar, and, well, not so much Nelcar, but with
Beech
Beech
Ridge,
Ridge's rules.
you have to be 15 to
15
race.
with a permit. That's the insurance. That's just the policy, which we all deal with it. We all agree.
Right.
We all go by it. It's not like
These are some of the things you have to deal with when you're that age group and you're
he's leading the points going in. So you know, so he's and I predicted a couple weeks ago on the show he would be the youngest winner ever to stand in victory lane in the Legends, and I believe it. And you know, so we just had a great time behind the scenes. So we got that today. We'll just talk about, you know, now the great week of racing, and you know,
one to come.
One to come. So we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back here on Mainely Motorsports.
Today's vehicles are equipped with complex safety features such as anti-lock brakes, seatbelt restraints, and airbag systems, even collision avoidance systems. Not available in all models. Hi, I'm Sean Moody from Moody's Collision Centers. We don't wish bad luck on anyone, but even with today's technology, we need to keep our eyes on the road and our hands on the wheel.
Moody's Collision Centers, now with 6 convenient locations.
Where is the best place to get a new Chrysler, Dodge, or Jeep?
Southern Maine Motors.
Southern Maine Motors.
Southern Maine Motors. I had an amazing experience at Southern Maine Motors.
When I drove off the lot, it was the greatest feeling to drive that new vehicle.
Southern Maine Motors 110% price guarantee just gives me the peace of mind that I know I'm getting the best deal around.
And we were really impressed with what we saw when we came down here.
I wouldn't go anyplace else.
No other dealer is working as hard to be #1 as Southern Maine Motors.
Patman's Redemption and Agency Liquor Store is located at 95 Tanberg Trail in Windham, Maine. With over 400 feet of hard liquor and 15 doors of ice-cold beer and soda, Patman's can handle all of your beverage needs. And if it's wine on your agenda, we have over 300 varieties in stock. Then when the party's over, Patman's can handle all of your Maine returnables, and we welcome all bottle drives. And if you're late for the race, drop off the bottles and pick up the cash at your convenience.
Hey, this is Pat Man himself, just letting you know that Pat Man's is your one-stop shop for all your thirsty needs.
Mainly Motorsports, brought to you by Award Champs, rewarding your champions, the official supplier of Mainly Motorsports. LKQ Core, any part, any repair, anywhere. Located on Route 202 in Gorham.
Local stock car racing starts later this month at Speedway 95, and there have been some changes at the track.
Sprucing her up a little bit. You know, to me, cosmetics is the name of the game, and I think if we can spruce the place up and make it look like a racetrack instead of a junkyard, why, I believe that people will come. We've hired some people. Chuck Hall's doing a real good job for us this year, and Kim Baker stepped forward, and we've got making some major changes, and I think we're going to have a good year.
I said it last week, and you know, we touched on it a little bit. You know, they've really done a good job up there, and the racers are buying into what the management wants. The fans are buying into the product that the racers are putting on the track, and I think they're in for a big 2012.
And you know, we all look at the forum every now and again, and I saw a thing, you know, it said Speedway 95, blah blah blah, you know, Saturday night races. So I looked on there to see who it was, and it was Harnish, of course.
Yeah.
He's probably writing it while he was eating a red hot dog or something, but you know, but I read it. He had like a paragraph and a half or whatever, and I read his post, and it was actually pretty spot on. You know, some of the things that he said. I haven't been to Speedway 95 this year. I haven't seen, but you know, if they can take suggestions and improve on them from people who do know, like he's been around for a while.
Goes to a lot of tracks.
Yeah. So if they could take that info and run with it, then they're going to be that much better. You know, they've already made leaps and bounds from what I hear. I haven't been up there this year, but you know, I think they're in that mindset, and that those are some of the things that they need to work on if they're looking to keep going and getting better.
Yeah.
And I think Chuck Hall is, you know.
And a lot of times it's just little things. It's not a major upgrade. It's just a little thing, you know.
Right.
But those little things that speed up the program and buy you 10 minutes here and buy you 12 minutes here and 8 minutes here. You know, people want to get out in a timely fashion.
Right.
You know, Andy Kustag at Beechridge has mastered that.
Oh, yeah.
He understands clockwork, you know, and the people know because people can make...
There's a reason that Thursday Thunder runs in 2 hours and they run, 8 divisions?
Yep.
I mean, it's features only, but it's bam, 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 bam.
Done and over with. So, but had some great racing up at 95, and you know, Andrew Crosby picked up the win in the Bombers, and you know, he's definitely a force to be reckoned with in that class.
Yeah, and that's a tough little class. You know, they don't call it the Bomber for nothing.
Yeah, I know exactly.
And then Zach Audette went down and won in the Sport 4, and he went there from Unity because
I don't know if they canceled because of rain.
We don't. Yeah, we're not sure yet.
And then last year's champion finished runner-up opening day, but brought his A game.
Yep.
And picked up the win, Andrew McLaughlin in the Strickleys, and
that's his nickname. What? The A game.
The A game. All right, we're gonna nickname everybody up there. Andrew A Game McLaughlin.
Right.
All right. So he's got a nickname now.
And then in the sportsmen, we had Stevie Moulton, and the anger management classes of work, and he's getting his car going, and he's got a fast car, and he's a hell of a nice guy, really.
Him and Tatro had a heck of a battle going week one, and he got caught up. It wasn't his doing.
Right.
His car spun and rolled down in front of him, but
right.
It's good to regroup and come back and put her in victory lane.
And Tatro's friends with him, and he's also friends with us from the sportsman running around tour that we do. And Tatro was actually helping us yesterday. He showed up. He's like, "Hey, what's going on?" I'm like, "Hey, you're getting put to work."
Yeah, no, that's good. Shane's a good guy. And then in the late models, the guy we all know and love, Mike Hot Rod Hopkins. I mean, win number 2 in pretty dominating fashion. Willie Anthony Wilcox has got that thing in. Hopkins got just enough of a chip on his shoulder. When he gets behind the wheel, I mean, he's the man right now.
And from what I read of the press release and stuff, they had 15 cars, which that's an average, solid Saturday night field, no matter what track you're at. Beach Ridge for the Pro Series, Oxford for the late models, whatever. 15 cars is a decent field in this day and age. And he lapped everybody except for up to the 6th place car. And from what Harnish said from his post, he could have kept going, but rolled around for the last 10
They're
laps.
on their game now, so he
Willie, I could see Willie grinning, standing there. So that's pretty awesome, actually.
Yeah, so they get the chance. They're doing some great things up there at Speedway 95. So if you're up in the area and you're flicking through Mainly Motorsports and you haven't been there in a year or two or a couple of years or whatever, go check out what Dell and Kim and Chuck and the rest of the gang up there are doing. Tony, all of them, because they're doing a great job.
They're trying hard. Yeah, they have definitely made improvements, and they're gonna keep making improvements. I know it. I feel it. They just have the right attitude.
No, you're right. So get up there and show them your support. And we're gonna take a break. When we come back, we're gonna show you and all our viewers what the difference is in a Challenger from yesterday to today. Pretty neat. Take a break. Be right back here on Mainly Motorsports.
5 years ago, I went shopping for my family's first camper. I didn't like the prices, and I didn't like the way I was treated. A year later, I opened up Scott's Recreation.
Today, Scott's Recreation is Maine's exclusive multi-line Heartland dealer, along with being Maine's #1 fifth-wheel dealer 2 years in a row. Browse through the new 2012 Heartland models or take advantage of closeout prices on 2011s. Scott's welcomes almost anything in trade, financing available too. Scott's Recreation, Route 202 in Manchester, and their new Turner location on Route 4.
Clark's Car Crushing has been a family-owned and operated business since 1978. We do everything from crushing cars, handling industrial scraps, to buying the scrap metal right out of the back of your pickup. Copper, brass, stainless steel, aluminum, you name it, we'll buy it. We have roll-off containers of all sizes for industrial accounts. We'll handle the legwork with full drop-off and pickup services. So for a professional job, guaranteed honest weights, and top dollar paid statewide, come see the Clark family in Farmingdale, Maine. Clark's Car Crushing. Don't fix it, scrap it.
Hey, I'm Steve Mignotti. You might see me on the Barrett Jackson Collector Car Auctions on Speed Channel, or maybe read my stuff in Hot Rod and Carcraft magazine. But when I'm in Maine, I get my fix from Mainly Motorsports.
Mainly Motorsports, brought to you by Northern Race Tire, dealer for Sunoco Race Fuels, distributed by New England Racing Fuel.
Moody's Collision Centers, now with 7 convenient locations: Gorham, Scarborough, Biddeford, Portland, Sanford, Lewiston, and now South Portland. Visit us at moodyscollision.com.
Welcome to Mainly Motorsports.
To order copies of a show, send a check or money order for $15, shipping and handling included, to Mainly Motorsports, 326 Roosevelt Trail, Windham, Maine, 04062. And please add a description of the show.
I'd like to welcome all our viewers down to Southern Maine Motors right here on Route 1 in Saco. I'm here with the internet sales girl, Danielle, not the door greeter, the internet sales girl. And I know a lot of people would probably like to see you greet me, but there's a chance that could happen, right?
There is a chance. Nice to meet you, Steve. Thank you so much for coming.
Danielle, I mean, there's a lot of exciting things going on down here. I mean, things are looking great down here in the yard.
Oh yeah, we've got a lot of great specials going on. We've got tons and tons of fabulous cars right now. So it's a lot of fun here.
Yeah, and some of the more prestigious looking, beautiful things. I mean, the Jeeps. I mean, that's a popular brand throughout the state of Maine. You got the minivans. Everybody needs a minivan, and
everyone needs
the
it.
trucks. But let's talk about these muscle cars.
Let's talk about them.
They're just amazing, and beautiful.
Beautiful cars, beautiful cars. It's a nice, sleek, sexy ride out there. It's an eye catcher.
Now, if you had the opportunity to get in one of these challenges, whether it's as a passenger or as a driver.
I've done both. I've been very privileged to get a chance to get in there both, and they're amazing, amazing vehicles. Lots of power, lots of room. You're going to have the visible look of them. They're going to have the eye-catching look down the street. It's just, they're great vehicles.
Yeah, and they, you said it, eye-catching, and that's what it's all about. When the spring gets in the summer, everybody wants to look good. Everybody's worried about how they're looking, their tan, and why not be in one of those vehicles that is eye-catching?
Exactly.
And can you give us some background on these, or is there somebody else around that might be better at that?
You know what, Steve? We actually have the owner of Southern Maine Motors right here, Bill. He's the expert of these vehicles, so let's get him.
So if we go get Bill, he'll be able to tell us the difference between the 1970 Challenger and the 2012 Challenger. So let's go see if we can roust up Bill and get him out here and take us through some of the differences and similarities with these Challengers.
You got it.
Okay, now we've caught up with Bill Waldron. I'd like to thank you for taking the time with us here on Mainely Motorsports. And Danielle said you're the expert on the Mopar muscle car.
That's what they tell me.
That's what they tell you.
Yeah.
Now you've been not only at the dealership, but you've been collecting these for years.
Yeah, I have. I've been into old cars since my 20s, actually. So.
Now, what was your first Mopar muscle car?
The first Mopar muscle car I had was a '66 Dodge Coronet 500. It was burgundy, pretty rusty, that I bought actually not far from here in Scarborough a long time ago.
Do you still own it?
No, I had that car for about 3 or 4 months until a 67 GTX caught my eye, which was sort of, 67 was the next year. That was really sort of the star jump-off point for the package sort of muscle cars for Chrysler.
Yeah.
They had the GTX on the Plymouth side and the Coronet RT on the Dodge side. So that was when they started with the graphics and the whole package with the engine, suspension, graphics, performance type package.
Yeah. Now, what do you think? I mean, we got an old Challenger here. We remember the Super Bs, the Chargers. What do you think has been the most popular and most recognizable Mopar muscle car from yesteryear?
Well, that's a tough question. I guess people, when they think of Mopar, names that come to mind is Challenger, Cuda, Charger, Roadrunner, Super B. So the Challenger that you see here was a little bit late to the game because the Roadrunner is probably the highest volume car that really put Mopar on the map. But then, people would argue, well, the Charger was there first, and the Charger was a little bit different slice of the market. The Roadrunner and the Super B were brothers and sisters, as you might call it, for Plymouth and Dodge. And then in 1970, the Challenger came out for Dodge, and you had the Cuda for Plymouth, sort of the brother and sister in that area.
Yeah.
And then sort of the junior muscle cars were sort of in the background along the way with with the Dart 340s and the Duster 340s and whatnot. So all of those names, when I think of those names, it brings to mind bright colors and graphics and engines on the hood and hood scoops and all that good stuff.
And it seemed to, in the mid-70s, they seemed to get away from that. And then the last couple years with the Challenger, and it's coming back. It's coming back.
Yeah, it seems to come back. There's a little retro rebirth. Ford has the Mustang, Chevy has the Camaro, and the Mopar has the Challenger. And the Challenger has taken cues really from the Challenger primarily, but also a little bit from the Barracuda. In fact, if you look at this older Challenger, the overhangs are typically longer on the front and the back than the Cuda was in the day. Gave the Cuda a little bit different look, same platform. And the new Challenger has a little bit shorter overhang, reminiscent grille of the Challenger. So it looks like, and it's a little bit taller. It's definitely a bigger car. You know, has a little bit shorter overhangs, maybe like the Cuda, but you know, the grille and the taillights and the rest of the fascia, much like an original Challenger.
Now I know the first question that every viewer is going to want to know is, what's the price difference? I mean, when you could have walked in, and if Southern Maine Motors was here 32 years ago and somebody could have walked in, what would have been the sticker price on this car?
This car, as you see it equipped, has an upgraded option. It's the 446 pack, which would have been an add. It has a shaker hood, which was an add. It was the RT package, which was different than the stock Challenger. You could get a Challenger with 5 different engines in 1970, but this car, as you see, it was about $4,300, 43 plus. And actually, this brand new one here is $43,995. So really, like 10 to 1.
So a guy could have bought 10 of these to one of these.
That's right.
I mean, obviously the money is different and stuff, but now you've driven them both, obviously a lot. What is some of the biggest similarities that Dodge brought forth?
Well, one thing, when you sit behind the wheel and put your right hand out, there's a pistol grip shifter, which Mopar was kind of famous for their pistol grip shifters for 4-speed cars. They did a sort of a reminiscent style pistol grip shifter in this car. But you know, it's a long hood, big comfortable bucket seats, good visibility, and you know, everything just fits right in your hand. And then it's all about your eyes and your feet going down the road after that.
Now, when you're out there riding around in these, what do you think gets more looks? The new Challenger or the old Challenger?
Well, that's a tough question. I guess probably both.
Now, I asked the question, but I'm going to give you what I think my answer would be.
All right, let's hear it.
It would depend on what age group you are.
Okay, there you go.
You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
The teens in the early 20s, but the persons in their 40s and above, they must look at this, and I mean, they think back, I mean, American Graffiti, the Happy Days, you know, the Grease days. I mean, those were even a little before this, but you know, that's what you hear from when we hear from our parents and our grandparents.
Yeah, they remember that. Yeah, that's one of the fun things about old cars for me is everybody has a story. You go somewhere with an old car, it doesn't matter what it is, and people just come up and start talking. I remember this, I remember that, and so it's always a little, it's always fun no matter what it is for an old car. There's a history story there somewhere.
Yeah, well, why don't you take our viewers through some of the big differences on the two cars, or some of the things that you want to point out that you think are very interesting to that either Dodge has brought forth or they've made a major change, which is an upgrade.
Okay, a lot of the, there is a big difference between the original car and the most current car. Cars are better these days. I really, you know, I believe that. As far as, you know, safety-wise and dependability, they certainly are. And fuel economy, too. I mean, this car is rated at 23 miles to the gallon on the highway, and this one is probably 10 if you're lucky, you know, or better. This car has 3 carburetors. Which on a good day, and it's relatively straightforward, but it requires tuning. 3 carburetors.
So that explains the 10 miles a gallon.
Yeah, exactly. And then this is, you know, a fuel-injected car, which, you know, is very efficient, all set up and virtually trouble-free.
Well, you know, the American automakers, they aren't the only guys that made it. I mean, NASCAR, they've just gone that route, gotten away from the carburetors and gone with the fuel injection and all that.
That's right.
I mean, they were actually a little behind the times to do it, but so, you know, that's something that people can relate to when you're talking about the carburetors versus the fuel injection.
So for, you know, dependability and safety, you know, there's obviously big differences. I mean, these cars are crash tested. They weren't back then. You have airbags, you know, throughout these cars. You didn't have those in the past. And then as far as, you know, much better brakes, bigger wheels and tires. And then as far as creature comforts, I mean, there's a huge difference there. I mean, with a car like this, you have, you know, sunroof, air conditioning, cruise control, power seats, heated seats, cup holders, you know, your Bluetooth for your telephone, navigation on a screen. I mean, that was sort of Jetsons type stuff. We were thinking of kids back then,
so
you know.
When people say, what did we used to do before all this stuff?
Right.
Just go drive a 1970
Just go drive,
Challenger,
yeah.
and you'll know what you used to do.
Put the music on and sunglasses, and that's all you need, really.
That's all you have, and that's all you can do.
Yeah.
No, well, that's cool. And you know, what's the persona of the Charger, the Challenger and the Charger? You know what I mean? The Charger more like for a family.
Yeah, the Charger of the old days was a 2-door car. It was sort of a premium 2-door sports coupe. And today it's the Charger. I mean, it shares the same sort of you know, stylish flair, but these days the Charger is really, it's a 4-door sedan. It's Dodge's 4-door sedan, and they come in a performance flavor. They also come in a, you know, 4-door sedan kind of, you know, drive around town 6-cylinder family style also.
Yeah, so they're pretty sleek looking, but there is a difference. For that guy that's looking for that real sports effect and the real muscle car effect, it's the Challenger that he's after.
Right. Yeah.
All right.
All right, so one thing that Bill failed to mention was the horsepower. On the original Challenger, this is a 390 and a quarter mile. It's 13.2 at about 100 miles per hour. On the new, it's 470 horsepower, and it is high 12s at 120 miles per hour.
Danielle, thank you for reminding all the folks of that information. I'm sure they were all dying to hear, and I forgot about it, so thank you.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, nobody would expect that the guy, because usually guys are all about performance and power, would talk all about the sleekness, and the women that are all about the sleekness and stuff
we all work
remember the
together
power.
here.
Yeah, and I guess that's what happens here. You're right.
This is the most important part of these.
Well, I want to thank you guys, because I'll tell you, it's informative, and these cars are awesome. And I mean, it's just amazing.
Well, thank you so much for coming down, and anyone, please come on down. We always have a classic vehicle out in the showroom, or visit us on southernmainmotors.com.
Thank you.
So, that's pretty neat because
it is.
There are some similarities, but obviously a lot of differences, just like women of 40 years ago to women of today, or men or anything, So, but notice this weekend they're also doing the pace car at Beechridge.
Yeah, they had the new Charger, all white and all lettered up and looked good, out there. And it's another way for Southern Maine Motors, who they see the value in marketing with the motorsports crowd.
Motorsports community, and they've been a big supporter here at Mainly Motorsports. So,
absolutely.
Like I said, we encourage all of our viewers to go and
I know I know that they sponsored a race this past weekend, and I know that we wanted to.
Oh, I wanted to give them a ton of coverage, So, and I'm open. They'll understand it wasn't on our end and why they didn't get their coverage. So, but the other thing that they have is their internet. You can go through the internet and stuff, and you heard that, and that's where Danielle came into. And I have an idea that and I threw it out there that she'd look good sitting here. Not that you don't look good, Greg. You really look nice. You come every week.
Why do you keep trying to trade me in?
Greg, let me ask you an honest...
If it comes down to a vote, you know who to vote for.
Listen, I'm going to ask you an honest question, okay? If you had a chance to tune into Mainly Motorsports, right, and watch Danielle and another Danielle sitting here, or Steve and Greg sitting here, what would make you more apt to tune in and watch Mainly Motorsports?
Steve and Greg.
Okay, Bruno Tamale.
So she wants my seat?
Well, I think we're going to, I don't want to say we're going to give her your seat, but we're going to incorporate the female side of things.
I think Southern Maine Motors being on here and everything, if they want, that's fine. They can have the seat. If they give me, let's say, a new Charger.
A new Charger, yeah.
They give me the seat in the new Charger, and they can have this seat.
If that seat's worth that, I'll just give them the whole show, But no, and I really do appreciate all they do for us, and really out there in the motorsports community, and obviously with the team that Scott and Vicky own, with Scott driving and Lonnie. And speaking of Scott, you've got to come back in the next segment. You've got to stay on the next segment, because I'm going to tell you what I did at Beechridge. Not defending Scott, because Scott did absolutely nothing wrong, and he wasn't. But I don't know if we're going to start this as a new segment.
And Lonnie got second.
Yeah, Lonnie got second. Lonnie did a good job, but and really good to hear all those guys and all the positive comments they had for Joey, and couldn't wait to get to victory lane. Derek Ransom got out of his car. First thing he did was run over to Joey. Johnny Clark, who had a bad run. Johnny Clark.
All these guys came out from infield pit road.
Travis Benjamin, maybe looking at the Excel.
Logo. Yeah, he's got a new Excel suit.
So if you get a chance to see Travis at his next race, check out his suit, and that's one you guys get coming. And a lot of people, Alicia's going to have those, so they're really getting out there. We're going to have Connor McDougal on an upcoming show, and he's got one. So we got some people out here in the Northeast supporting Excel, and hopefully we've done our part to help them. But we're going to take a break, and really, I hope you guys really like that. And if you're looking for that new vehicle, go down and check out what all of them down there at Southern Maine Motors have.
Absolutely.
They have, the dealerships down the road, the Kia and, the Nissan. So, Southern Maine Motors is the Chrysler.
They got something for your budget.
Yeah, they got something. And, go down and, tell them that Mainly Motorsports told you to come in and get a car. So, I guess I could be a good car salesman. Huh? All right, we're going to take a break. Be right back.
Patman's Redemption and Agency Liquor Store is located at 95 Tanberg Trail in Windham, Maine. With over 400 feet of hard liquor and 15 doors of ice-cold beer and soda, Patman's can handle all of your beverage needs. And if it's wine on your agenda, we have over 300 varieties in stock. Then when the party's over, Patman's can handle all of your main returnables, and we welcome all bottle drives. And if you're late for the race, drop off the bottles and pick up the cash at your convenience.
Hey, this is Pat Man himself, just letting you know that Pat Man's is your one-stop shop for all your thirsty needs.
All of us at Moody's Collision Centers would like to thank you for supporting us for over 30 years.
We all own stock in Moody's and have a vested interest in you and your vehicle.
The people at Moody's Collision Centers are part of the community, and our reputation is very important to us.
We take pride in our work and guarantee our repairs for as long as you own your vehicle.
At Moody's Collision Center, we care about our customers.
So when your insurance company asks where you want to go, tell them Moody's Collision Centers. 4 convenient locations: Gorham, Scarborough, Biddeford, and now Portland.
Mainly Motorsports, brought to you by Clark's Car Crushing, located in Hollowell, providing guaranteed honest weights with top dollar being paid. Gary Hotels, located in Brunswick, Freeport, Waterville, and Augusta, the official hotel of Mainly Motorsports.
Hey, I'm Kyle Busch, and when I'm in Maine, I watch Mainly Motorsports.
Now I think something we caught on to, we come up with crazy ideas in the ride down, huh?
Yeah.
The photo of the week, okay?
Yeah.
And it could be anything. Could be, you know, somebody in Victory Lane, first win in 45 years or something. And so we're starting it. And it kind of stinks because this week, for this week's show, we only got one photo.
Right.
So, but that's what kind of gave us the idea too. Little Lindsay, I think every time I think of this, right, I'm thinking about Happy Days when little Richie Cunningham rode in and wanted to see Arthur Fonzarelli jump the chicken coop at Arnold's, right? Well, Lindsay, right? Remember that? That's why, and then Fonzie did it, broke his leg. But Lindsay sends in this picture and says, what do you think of this guy? Well, this gave us the idea of the photo of the week.
Right.
So we want people to send in to my email, which is sperry@mainlymotorsportstv.com. Send in your photo. It doesn't have to be from this week, could be from 3 weeks ago, and we'll put it. Give us a little description of what it is, and if your photo's chosen to be photo of the week, then I'll send you a Mainly Motorsports t-shirt, and maybe some other little trinkets, but, and people will know you sent in the photo of the week.
Right.
And this one has a little story behind it because it goes a little deeper, because she sent this one, and we're going to name the photo, so this could be a touching moment photo, or this could be
we'll
Family
pick a
Day
name,
photo, right? Well, I'm naming this week's photo Kook of the Week, because this guy sits there and he's a lunatic, right? He's a kook. And he was wailing and flailing his arms at people he doesn't like racing, which is fine. But the thing that ironed me was when I saw Scott Mulkern go head on into the wall off the 4-turn.
Right.
And this guy stood up and waved his arms and was happy.
Now, when somebody crashes, it doesn't matter if it's Beechridge or a super speedway, there's still
a chance of danger.
Rate of deceleration is what actually injures the driver more. And he thing snapped out on him coming off of 4, and then it snapped back to the right, and he went head on pretty much into the front stretch wall, into the tires. That's a big wreck. And for some clown to be sitting there cheering for him and cheering because he wrecked, that's not what racing's all about. Racing's about racing. Wrecks happen. You don't sit there and cheer because somebody you don't care for just wrecked.
And it was funny because I didn't know she had taken pictures earlier. So when that happened, I stood up, the caution come out, we were all our friends, and we were standing up and stretching. It really struck me wrong because I was already irritated, right? So it really struck me that this guy's hoping that, that somebody's hurt, because, he doesn't like them. It just struck me, so I had to go down.
Oh, no.
Tap the gentleman on the shoulder.
Oh, no.
And now this guy should know, because I've told him earlier in the day that he needed to watch himself, because my buddy, Mike Lux, was sitting about 6 feet from him, and one night, a few years back, when he was cheering and wanted the same result for Mike Rowe, because he didn't like him, he took a backhand to the head from Mike Lux because of that. So he knows what's possible, and I forewarned him. Well, I don't think he thought it was coming from me, and I didn't hit him. I didn't do any physical damage or physical harm, but I basically told him if I saw him cheering for anybody that was involved in a bad, this ain't a minor spin. The guy spins out off 4. Oh, yay, my guy, now my guy benefits.
Right.
This is a guy that went head on into the 4-turn wall. The guy's wife is 5 feet from you, and you're cheering, okay? So I let it be known that if I ever saw him do that again, and I was there, I would knock him out and down over the bleachers. So, and I'm not a tough guy. I'm a lover, not a fighter. But it just irritated me, right? But I had my backup with me. My wife was with me. She wouldn't let the guy beat me up. But
Right.
and I had Luke the Kook, the original Kook, Lux, but so I let him know, and that was the way it was going to be. And behold, I go home and I got a picture of him. So decided to start this new fan. So we got this week's fan is Kook of the Week, brought to you by Lindsay.
So send in your fan photos.
Yeah, and we'll name them. So we'll take a
name
break, and we'll be right back here on Mainly Motorsports.
Where is the best place to get a new Chrysler, Dodge, or Jeep?
Southern Maine Motors.
Southern Maine Motors.
Southern Maine Motors.
The new 2012 Dodge Grand Caravan delivers. Chances are you'll need to stop before it will. Delivering more than 25 miles per gallon, that's 500 miles per tank. Errands, soccer, baseball, or loaded full of college stuff, you'll get it all done easily with your new minivan from Southern Maine Motors. No other dealer is working as hard to be #1 as Southern Maine Motors.
5 years ago, I went shopping for my family's first camper. I didn't like the prices, and I didn't like the way I was treated. A year later, I opened up Scott's Recreation.
Today, Scott's Recreation is Maine's exclusive multi-line Heartland dealer, along with being Maine's #1 fifth-wheel dealer 2 years in a row. Browse through the new 2012 Heartland models or take advantage of closeout prices on 2011s. Scott's welcomes almost anything in trade, financing available too. Scott's Recreation, Route 202 in Manchester, and their new Turner location on Route 4.
Mainly Motorsports, brought to you by Award Champs, rewarding your champions. The official supplier of Mainly Motorsports. Southern Maine Motors, out to be Maine's #1 Chrysler Dodge Jeep dealership, Route 1 Saco. Clark's Car Crushing, located in Hollowell, providing guaranteed honest weights with top dollar being paid. Gary Hotels, located in Brunswick, Freeport, Waterville, and Augusta. The official hotel of Mainly Motorsports.
Now, last week we went out to Johnny's, just kind of hung out and did some stuff and gave me an idea. And so I also decided that, mentioned earlier in the show, Reed Lanpher, 13-year-old kid. I think he's got a bright future ahead of him.
One thing I like about Reed, he's very articulate for a 13-year-old kid.
Yeah, no, he's got good upbringing. Scott and Holly, his sister Emily. And
I've talked to a few people that have worked with him from different things, and they are amazed at how
he wants to
knowledgeable
succeed,
he is.
and he's a good kid. So, I went out. My family invited me and my family up for supper. So anytime you want to be on the show, you send me a dinner invitation, and we're good to go. Make a whole show about you. But anyway, went up, spent some time with him. Me and Reed got on the four-wheelers, just went out riding. Watch a 13-year-old kid be a 13-year-old kid. Taught me. And the sticky part, because I don't know if Dave's going to be able to show it because it's out of focus. And I think Reed did it on purpose, because I rode a wheelie on Reed's machine. And I went quite a ways. Even my wife and daughter and Reed's mom that were there, they were walking out with the horses, were amazed at how the big guy kept her up on 2 wheels for such a long time. But Reed was filming, and I think he purposely had it out of focus so I'd look like I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
You don't believe so?
No.
Okay. Well, I'll do it again. Because I told him he could get hurt. I can get hurt, not him, because his mother already warned him. But we had a great time, and we're going to cut this up into 2 segments, because next week we'll come back, me and him, continuing the conversation, playing a game of hoops, just a 13-year-old being a 13-year-old.
Right.
Talking racing, life, and everything. So it was pretty neat. So I think you guys will enjoy what Reed has to say and about past, present, and future. And that sounds funny coming from a 13-year-old, but it's pretty.
He's got nothing but future.
Yeah, pretty grounded. So enjoy this segment, piece 1 of 2-part series on Reed Lanpher.
Yeah, this is our old motocross track that I used to practice on when I raced motocross, where I broke my back a couple of years ago.
How old were you when you ran motocross?
I started racing when I was about 6 and stopped when I was 9 when I broke my back. couldn't see the mud from up here.
Your mother told you not to get hurt. You ride a lot of sleds out here?
Oh, it's huge. So all winter long, whenever we have snow.
Are there trails that run through here, or are they just...
Yeah, we actually have a trail that you can access anything, run right up through, and I put on thousands of miles every year snowmobiling, and I think snowmobiling, four-wheeling, motocross, all that racy aspects of stuff, I think that all helps me in racing. That all adds up.
I was wondering how much of a part you think that plays in everything you're trying to do as you progress up the ladder.
Yeah, I think that's huge. Without it, I mean, especially motocross, it's just, I mean, I'd crossover moves, any of that stuff at all. I think me doing that for quite a few years helped a ton.
Now, what are you, coming up through the ranks, you raced motocross, snowmobiles, go-karts. Looking back, and I hate to say looking back because you still do some of it, but being 13 years old, almost 14, maybe 14 by the time this is airing, what's some of your most fondest memories from each one of those?
Well, in 2004, I won the Maine Motocross Series Championship. That was the only year that I didn't break a bone. I was able to finish out, and I won the state championship in the 50cc division, and that was pretty cool. And then snowmobiling, I just ride some pretty crazy places up north, and I've done a couple USCC cross country races, and this year I did a snowcross race up Carrabassic Valley, and those have all been awesome.
So you find that's the best way to keep in race shape, you know, by racing all year long, and then it helps you when the car season comes, and you know you're finding success already on the Legend Tour, and you know, gonna have you run some more go-kart races, and you know later on in the summer you're gonna make your debut on the Granite State Pro Stock Series.
Yeah, I mean, really excited for all those. It's fun.
What goes through your mind when you're riding around out here and thinking about you know, the fact that you're 13 years old, but the opportunities that you've already had and are going to be given?
Just really appreciative, and just, I mean, my dad, I just can't thank him enough. The things I've been able to do at my age and stuff I've seen, done, and it's just awesome.
You have a favorite spot out here that you like to go to when you just want to sit and think and be that kid?
Yeah, up on the top hill, I mean, out snowmobiling, four-wheeler, and anything really. I mean, just go up there and just nothing around really.
Now, what do your friends think about the fact that you are a young aspiring racer, and you know a lot of weekends when they're off going to the movies and doing things, you're looking for the next race?
I mean, they don't really get it by any means, just because they've never done anything or been in the kind of racing world that I'm in, but I mean, I think that they find it pretty cool and everything, but they just don't really. If I was to ask somebody, they'd just be like, the whole, like, I don't know, what do you do, just turn left? Or, I mean, it's tough for them to get it, but I think it's pretty cool.
Get hurt, but I can. Watch, please keep it. How was that? Was that impressive?
Very.
Nice.
Oh, that was cool. I never thought of that. If I knew, I had thought we could sneak up, and there's always deer out here. Then there's another field.
Really?
Yeah. A ton up here. I mean, there's 200 plus acres that you can go around, and it's rather than sitting inside on the couch playing video games like most other kids.
So you hunt, fish, do it all?
Yeah, pretty much. Outdoors, stay active.
So you're a typical boy.
Yeah.
Now you keep your legend stuff at Bob Weymouth's. Is there ever dreams that Reed Lanpher's going to have his own big race shop and something that you can start building your own team around?
Oh, it's always been my dream to have one out back. Just never not doing anything. Always be out there, make sure everything's perfect for the weekend or stuff like that. But someday, maybe when I'm 100% eligible, able to do everything to the cars and make sure they're perfect without anybody else's help, maybe you'll see that.
Now, schooling also plays a very big part, and I know your parents are, they stay on top of it, because it would be easy for you to kind of get away and put schooling in the background, but you know, you're a pretty good student, and you know, how do you make it all work? You know, student, athlete, racer.
Yeah, I mean, being a straight A student is pretty tough, but I manage it and I stay on top of my work, don't fall behind at school, and just save outside of school mostly for focus on racing and sports and other commitments.
Now, of all the sports, you play baseball.
Yeah.
Basketball.
Yeah.
What's your favorite sport?
I don't know. That'd be a toughie. I really enjoy both. I like basketball probably a little more just because it's a little more intense and always doing something, I guess.
Clark's Car Crushing has been a family-owned and operated business since 1978. We do everything from crushing cars, handling industrial scraps, to buying the scrap metal right out of the back of your pickup. Copper, brass, stainless steel, aluminum, you name it, we'll buy it. We have roll-off containers of all sizes for industrial accounts. We'll handle the legwork with full drop-off and pickup services. So for a professional job, guaranteed honest weights, and top dollar paid statewide, come see the Clark family in Farmingdale, Maine. Clark's Car Crushing. Don't fix it, scrap it.
Welcome to Mainely Motorsports.
To order copies of a show, send a check or money order for $15, shipping and handling included, to Mainely Motorsports, 326 Roosevelt Trail, Windham, Maine, 04062. And please add a description of the show.
Well, young guns. I mean,
yeah.
What do you think?
I think they all better be in the mindset because a couple are coming out of the gate swinging.
They are. So I just want to take this time, reintroduce everybody to them, and see the cars. So if you're traveling to different tracks throughout the year and watching and say, oh, that's a young gun.
Right.
That's a young gun. So this is what they're running here in 2012.
Today's vehicles are equipped with complex safety features such as anti-lock brakes, seatbelt restraints, and airbag systems. Even collision avoidance systems. Not available in all models. Hi, I'm Sean Moody from Moody's Collision Centers. We don't wish bad luck on anyone, but even with today's technology, we need to keep our eyes on the road and our hands on the wheel. Moody's Collision Centers, now with 6 convenient locations.
Where's the best place to get a new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram? Southern Maine Motors.
Hi, my name is Danielle, Customer Care Service Specialist at Southern Maine Motors. We are a local family-owned business. Our separation point in this busy market is our commitment to you. Satisfaction is not enough. Our goal is for you to become a store promoter because your kind words are stronger than over 100 TV commercials.
This Jeep Patriot Sport is only $13,225, or this Jeep Compass Sport for only $17,567. No other dealer is working as hard to be #1 as Southern Maine Motors.
Mainly Motorsports, brought to you by Gary Hotels, located in Brunswick, Freeport, Waterville, and Augusta, the official hotel of Mainly Motorsports. Northern Race Tire, dealer for Sunoco Race Fuels, distributed by New England Racing Fuel.
As we wrap up this week's show, anybody interested in seeing all these 10 young guns, they're going to be in one place. May 18th, Friday night, May 18th.
Here they come, Peggy.
Peggy Timmons, she's opened the house up. I told her we got 550 people. I don't know how many we got, but a lot of people excited. It's going to be a good opportunity for these kids to all meet each other, you know, and we got some different media outlets that are coming, and it's just going to be a great time. So if you want to meet them all, and maybe you don't know Shelby or you don't know Austin, or the ones from up north have never met Joey or
Right.
or Evan, you know what I mean? It's going to be fun.
And it's kind of funny that it's the Timmons are holding it or whatever. You know how I like to make up nicknames for different drivers or whatever and stuff. Did I ever tell you what my nickname for Bobby Timmons is?
No.
Well, he's the third, right?
Yeah.
So I call him BT3.
BT3.
Yeah.
There you go. But going to be a good time. And if anybody, we got a lot of viewers. I heard from Jeffrey over there in Groveton. The guy was texting me from Groveton. They watch it over in Groveton in Berlin, New Hampshire. So if people don't think that we're getting out there and people are watching Mainly Motorsports, they're wrong, because we're getting people everywhere. And but if you do miss an episode and you want to catch up, or you heard one, and you go to our website, mainlymotorsportstv.com, and catch up on the latest info, the latest episodes, and everything we got going on, because you never know where we're going to be and what's next. Right?
Schedule's always changing.
Yeah, schedule's always changing. All right? So for Greg, I'm Steve, and I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. And get out and support all our supporters and all the sponsors. You see them on the screen, the TV, the tickers, the scrolls, because without them, we wouldn't be here. And even with them, we can't be some places.
Get
so
to
we'll
a
see you
race.
next time on Mainly Motorsports.